Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Let me just take a picture of what we're talking about. Got it. We're talking about 5 or 6 things that I've learned from modeling. Now, I've been doing it for a while, so I've learned so many things. I feel like it has really changed my life, but I thought it would be good for the sake of this video for going over like 5 or 6 kind of things that we can discuss that I've learned from modeling, and then I'll do so many more videos about the things that I've learned, because I feel like I could write a book. Like I might actually write a book. I could write a full book on the things that I've seen and the things that I've learned. The first thing that I've got is, I feel like let's just get into the ugly side of it. I did have 5 points, and then I was like, this is all just so soft. Like I want to have a 6th point, but I'm actually going to start with point 6 now, which is that it literally shows you in a way like the ugliness in people. I feel like that is probably one of the biggest things that I've learned from modeling. And when I say the ugliness of people, I mean people in the industry, like people that you're against or you're working with, like your peers, but actually just everyone else as well. Because models comparing and competing with you is a given. People are like, oh, models compare and compete with models, but let's just put models and the competition of models aside for a second and talk about the competitiveness that you actually get from other people in the team. Like you'll get the makeup artist, the photographer, the videographer, the hairstylist. Like there is also a competitiveness between those people and you. The model and the photographer are probably the 2 people on set that are getting paid the most. The photographer is just going all day. If there's multiple models, the photographer's shooting all of them. So yeah, as a model, you don't really get much of a break, because when you're not shooting, you're being touched up or other things. But as the photographer, you're also going all day at the shoot. And then they have the whole post thing to do where they're like editing, retouching and all that stuff, whether it be video or photos. So naturally they should get paid a lot because they're constantly going all day, and so should the model. Whereas with hair and stuff and makeup, yeah, you've got to do touch-ups in between, but the main bulk of your job is done like within the first couple of hours of being on set. So it does make sense, like the logistics and the math of like how everybody's getting paid. As a model, we are performing pretty much all day or have hands on us, and like it's out the right to our face and our body, like the usage that's going to be used for years. So, you know, legally it's quite a big thing as well. So yeah, obviously the model and the photographer, videographer should be getting paid the most, but everybody knows on set that that is the case. So you naturally do. I've seen so much competition between me and other people on set, because they're like, oh, you're the model, yeah, but you're getting paid like 5 times more than me for being here. And like snide comments like that I've heard a lot in my career, which is nuts really, because you would think, like I said, that the main competitiveness would come from other models, and yeah, it does, but then on top of that you've got this to deal with. I mean, I guess because the way they're seeing it is we're all in the same place at this moment, but we're all getting paid different amounts, and that's got to be quite a hard pill to swallow. So I can understand where it comes from, but yeah, I've seen that a lot. Then I've seen the ugliness of people outside the industry. I have literally had friends or people in my life that I thought were my friends, and I have to keep doing this because they are not my friends, family and people that I've dated and things like that, where they've shown such an ugly side of them because of what I do, and they're literally nothing to do with the industry. And you would think because they're so far out of it and they just have like a different kind of job entirely, and they're in a completely different industry, or they're not working, or whatever their situation might be, that they wouldn't even think to be competitive, because naturally your mind would go to the competitions all within the industry. But I've seen really ugly sides of people that I thought were quite close to me because they've got competitive or jealous about what I do. I remember I did the Charlotte Tilbury campaign, which Charlotte Tilbury is an internationally known brand. A lot of people in the world have probably heard of her. I feel like she's known in every corner of the world. So yeah, I would say it's a huge deal to be able to do her campaign, and she's a very well-known brand and person internationally. But my friend from school who's my age that wears makeup was like, yeah, I don't know what that is. Crickets. I'm not friends with her anymore. Things like that with people that you wouldn't even expect, like that I've been to high school with, that are not in the industry. They've shown like an ugliness because of this. I remember actually when I got scouted to become a model, and that was actually in my placement year at school, and I was doing another job where I was working with children and I was getting them placed to do what was it? Not go to university, to do, what's the other thing? Internships. I don't know. Like, we were basically helping them with their education and getting them placed in different companies and stuff so they don't necessarily have to go and get a degree. So I was doing that and I was working with all these kids, and then I got scouted to be a model. And then alongside, because the company I was working for, I made friends with the owner, they kind of allowed me to spend most of my time modeling and a little bit of time working for the company. And I really appreciated that. Like, honestly, they supported me so much on my journey. And I remember going back to uni and doing my final year of uni, and just the tone had completely changed. Like, it was very much like, who does she think she is? She's a model now, she's been scouted, does she think she's so special? And I actually ended up getting bullied in my final year of university because of the girls that I lived with, and they were just so lost, really, and like very insecure characters, very jealous and competitive, and just like, honestly, like, I try so hard to give them grace, but I just think mean, insecure girls, to be honest, that I unfortunately, you know, had to live with in that time. And I think that a lot of that stemmed from the fact that I had done modeling and I'd had these huge, amazing opportunities in that year, and I was literally killing it. And everybody knew that I was going to do really well as a model, and I knew, and I was like buzzing and excited, and I think they knew that too. Me knowing it and stuff like that was like so exciting and so happy. And to be honest, like, they never really took away the excitement and the happiness, because I went on to do it and have a fruitful career. But I feel like, yeah, like, it was like kind of embarrassing for them, because I just used to look at them, and I look at them now and I just think like it really made them ugly in the way that they behaved and acted. And I really did think they were my friends and I got on with them until this whole competitive and jealousy thing happened because of modeling, really. So yeah, I would say it has definitely made me see the ego in people, the competitiveness, the jealousy. There's been so many people around me that have tried to pursue it after I've tried to pursue it, and I've kind of not said anything to them, but I've just been watching them. Like, I know for me it's a career, and I know for me it's something that I've really put a lot of energy and effort into. And I think for a lot of people, they just think it's a joke, and that it's something that can just be like done at a click of a finger or like a drop of a hat, and that like it can be like kind of a paid weekend thing that you just get a bit of cash for. And it's sad that it's kind of seen like that, when actually so much goes into it to become successful at it. So yeah, I definitely have seen competitiveness, I've seen a lot of copying, I've seen a lot of jealousy, and yeah, weird vibes. On a more positive note, now I've got that part out of the way, is that rejection is not personal. I feel like as a model, you do get rejected a lot. A lot of things change, a lot of last minute changes where the whole shoot isn't happening, or they've decided to go with someone else, or they've just changed the vibe, or whatever. Like, there's so many things that can kind of change. So I feel like you get so used to that change and that constant changing that you just become like immune to the rejection. I don't really think I've necessarily like been on set that many times where, I mean, I've never been on set where someone's been like, I don't like her, she's got to go. But I have been on the other side of that, where I've been quickly pulled in to replace someone because they've sent a model home because they just don't like the way they look on set. I feel like, personally, with me, if I didn't feel like it was working and I was filling the mold of being a model, that I would probably not want to do it, only because of my own self-respect. But yeah, I think it's definitely taught me to not take rejection personally. Another thing that I've got is comparison will steal your joy if you let it. I think that in the modeling industry, it's so easy to compare. It's so easy to meet all these other girls that have got so many things going for them, and then just start comparing. And because you are exposed to so many good-looking, successful, interesting people that have got such interesting style and energy and stuff, you can get confused in who you are, your style, what you stand for, and stuff like that. So I think, yeah, it is interesting to be around all these like cool people. But yes, it's definitely taught me to just ground more in myself and who I am, because I feel like because there's so much going on and there's so many like different energies and cool people really, that you can get pulled left, right and center. And where it is nice to take inspiration from people and be inspired, it's also really important to not compare and remember that we all have our own light and we're all doing our own thing. And most of all, that there's enough for all of us. I feel like people very quickly get stuck in that rut of thinking, oh, if she gets that, then that's affected me and now I can't get it. And I remember I used to live in a model apartment when I first moved to India years ago. And I just remember it was insane, guys. Like every single day that I would like make a movement or like want to go grocery shopping or go shopping for clothes or something, like I was living with this girl and she would like peep her head through the door and be like, where are you going? What are you doing? Are you working? And she would come with her like, her statement of how much money she's made and want to do like a side-by-side comparison. That to me is insane and something that I would never stand for now. Funnily enough, I feel like I've always been quite secure in myself and I've never really thought of the job as me. Like I haven't made modeling my whole personality or my whole identity. So I've always had this thing where I'm able to kind of know who I am and then know what my job is. But I think when you don't, then it is very easy to compare. So I think it's just very important to kind of just stay in your own light and just remember that there's enough for everyone, and it doesn't really take away if somebody gets something over you or vice versa. And then I've got projecting, and then I've got protecting your sense of self is everything. Yeah, I think it is. Like I just said, this blends in really well into this point, the point that I just made, which is that splitting yourself up and having a separate identity to the job is really important. I personally don't really like to introduce myself as a model, even though that's probably what I've done as a job for the most part of my life and the job that I've like done the longest so far. So it is tough because you're kind of seen as just a model. And then I feel like as humans, we love to label and put people into categories because it just makes it easier for us to understand and whatever. But yeah, I think it's definitely important to protect your sense of self outside of the job, and just to remember whilst you're shooting and working and doing all these things that you are still a human being. I think a lot of the time what happens is people treat models as mannequins or as like a doll. I think you can get treated like that in relationships as well if you are seen to be a model or your partner or the person you're dating knows you're a model. There's kind of like this buzz that comes with the title of like, oh yeah, I'm dating a model, or yeah, I dated her, and it's like all exciting that, yeah, but actually you're not a possession, you're not a doll, you're a person too. The main thing that I always like try and remember is I'm not a doll, I'm not a mannequin. When I'm working, I don't appreciate being pushed and pulled and moved into positions. I like for people to take the time to tell me, like, could you move your left arm? Could you move your right arm back? Like, I'm very much like these are my boundaries, I'm a person. Like, don't forget that, like, just because you're adjusting the jewelry, that you can just adjust my arm too, because, I'm a person. So I think it's definitely important to protect your sense of self throughout the job. And it's really made me just be kinder to myself and appreciate myself, because not everybody is necessarily that kind to you. One, because of the jealousy and the comparison, because they're probably thinking, well, why is she what they deem to be good looking or successful or whatever? Like, how is she a model? So you do get a lot of like nastiness, but then also, people are just gonna swing you around like left, right and center if you let them, because they're literally gonna be like, well, we booked a model, so like your hours and we own your soul for like 12 hours. And it's really doesn't have to be the case. Like, you've got to use your voice and stand up for yourself. And it's the same for the friendships and people and other models or whoever's being competitive with you. I'm very much like firm in my boundaries, and if I see any hint of like people copying or comparing or anything like that, like, everybody knows that I won't create a drama, but I will drop them very quickly and just move on with my life, because those people need help. And then I've got the most successful people aren't always the most beautiful or talented. They're often the most professional and reliable. This is definitely true. Yeah, I feel like if you want to be successful in this game, you have to be reliable, you have to be professional, you have to know how to do your job and do it well. I don't think it's really to do that much about how you look. Obviously, initially your looks get you through the door, but then to actually stay there and create something once you've gone through that door, you really need professionalism, people skills, reliability, a lot of like different abilities to be able to execute the job and do it well, to be able to work with people, and yeah, to be able to take a lot of things on the chin, to have thick skin, to kind of hear one thing and then let it just go out the other ear, and not be so sensitive to people's opinions of you, because people are going to have a lot of opinions. Not be so sensitive also to people's opinions, full stop. Like, I think I hear a lot of things that people are saying just in life, and I just think, okay, they're projecting, that's really like not my opinion. You don't necessarily have to, you know, create a whole song and a dance where you're like desperately arguing with that person and trying to convince them that they're wrong and that this is the way that they should see the world, or this is the way that they should treat you. But it's just good to have your own mind and have good boundaries. And yeah, I think those are like basically some of a few things that I've learned from the job. But like I said, there's so many things. So I could do like a part 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, like so many parts to this, because 5 points on this topic is like nothing. So yeah, I think I'll leave it there for now. I just thought I would do like a quick, cute little fun video just sharing my knowledge about modeling and just giving you guys a bit more of an insight about the kind of things that I've learned. Yeah, so if this is something that you guys enjoy, let me know, and I will be back very soon with another video.